Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on AWS Direct Connect. AWS Direct Connect. Private connection. AWS Direct Connect is a service that establishes a dedicated network connection between your on-premises and AWS cloud network. Cloud services. It allows private access to AWS services like EC2, S3 and many more. Lower latency. The dedicated connection often results in lower latency compared to public internet connections. Data transfer cost. Using AWS Direct Connect can reduce data transfer cost. Secure. Offers more predictable performance and added security compared to using the public internet. When to use AWS Direct Connect? Large data transfers. Use AWS Direct Connect when you have to move large amounts of data between your on-premises infrastructure and AWS. Compliance requirements. If your industry mandates strict compliance standards for data transfer and storage, AWS Direct Connect provides a private secure link. High availability. For mission critical applications that require high availability, AWS Direct Connect can offer more reliable network experience. Consistent network performance. It is ideal when your workload demands predictable, consistent network performance. Hybrid architecture. When you have a hybrid cloud environment, AWS Direct Connect makes it easier to integrate on-premises resources with AWS resource services. How to use AWS Direct Connect. Choose location. Choose a Direct Connect location. Decide on AWS Direct Connect location close to your premises for optimal performance. Request connection. Go to the AWS management console and request a Direct Connect connection. Virtual interface. Create a virtual interface choosing between public or private and configure it. Router configuration. Set up the on-premises router according to AWS Direct Connect guidelines. Test connection. Before going live, ensure that the connection is set up correctly by performing necessary tests. Settings for creating AWS Direct Connect. Connection name. Specify a unique name for the Direct Connect connection for easier identification. Port speed. Choose the port speed that suit your needs. Options usually range from 1 Gbps to 10 Gbps. AWS region. Select the AWS region where you want to establish the Direct Connect link. Direct Connect location. Choose from available Direct Connect locations close to your premises. Number of connections. Decide if single or multiple connections are needed based on your workload and high availability requirements. Virtual interfaces. Configure public or private virtual interfaces for the connection. Redundancy. Enable or disable redundant options for better fault tolerance. BGP configuration. Set up border gateway protocol settings for the routing. Limits and quotas of AWS Direct Connect. Port speeds. AWS Direct Connect offers port speed ranging from 1 Gbps to 100 Gbps, catering to varying needs. Max WIFs. You can have up to 50 virtual interfaces per Direct Connect location. VLAN range. The VLAN IDs supported range from 1 all the way up to 4095. MTU size. The maximum transmission unit size can be set between 1500 and 9001 bytes. Max prefixes. For both public and private virtual interfaces, you can announce up to 100 prefixes. Key terminologies of AWS Direct Connect. Direct Connect Gateway, a globally available resource that allows transitive routing between your virtual private clouds and on-premises network. Virtual interface, a distinct network connection that runs over a Direct Connect connection, can be either public or private. Port speeds, the data rate of the AWS Direct Connect port, typically ranging from 1 Gbps to 100 Gbps. Border Gateway Protocol, the routing protocol used to exchange routing information between your on-premises network and AWS. Letter of Authorization, LOA, a document that authorizes the connection between your network and AWS Direct Connect. Hosted connection, a Direct Connect connection that is provided through AWS Direct Connect Partner. Direct Connect Partner, a member of the AWS Partner Network that provides Direct Connect services. Underlying technology of AWS Direct Connect. Dedicated line. AWS Direct Connect uses a dedicated line from your on-premises to an AWS Direct Connect location. Ethernet connectivity. It leverages Ethernet connectivity to establish the link between AWS and your infrastructure. Virtual interfaces. Public and private virtual interfaces enable connection to AWS services and your on-premises network respectively. BGP routing. Border Gateway Protocol is used for exchanging routing information and connecting your internal network to AWS. Data encryption. Though not directly provided by Direct Connect, you can add layers of security like VPNs to encrypt the data. Cost. Pricing of AWS Direct Connect. Port hourly fees. You are charged an hourly rate based on the port speed you select, such as 1 Gbps or 10 Gbps. Data transfer out. Fees apply for transferring data from AWS to your on-premises location. Data transfer in. Generally free or at a nominal cost depending on the region and volume. LOA CFA fees. Some location may charge a one-time letter of authorization, connecting facility assignment fees. Additional cost. If you use a Direct Connect partner, there may be additional charges involved. Security aspects of AWS Direct Connect. Physical security. AWS Direct Connect locations come with robust physical security measures such as 24/7 surveillance. Private connection. Direct Connect provides a private, dedicated line, reducing exposure to public internet risk. Data encryption. While Direct Connect does not provide encryption by default, you can add encryption layers such as VPN. BGP authentication utilizes MD5 based authentication for increased security during route propagation via Border Gateway Protocol. Compliance standards. Direct Connect is compliant with industry regulations like HIPAA and GDPR, enhancing data security. Performance offered by AWS Direct Connect. Low latency. AWS Direct Connect reduces network latency by providing a dedicated direct path to AWS services. High throughput. Enhanced data transfer speeds are available, ranging from 1 Gbps to all the way to 100 Gbps. Consistent network experience. Being a dedicated connection, it offers a more predictable and consistent networking experience. Scalability. You can easily scale the connection up or down based on your requirements. Bandwidth options. Multiple bandwidth options allow for flexible performance tuning based on your specific needs. Logging and monitoring options in AWS Direct Connect. CloudWatch metrics. Utilize Amazon CloudWatch metrics for real-time monitoring of data such as bandwidth usage and connection status. CloudWatch alarms. Set up alarms in CloudWatch to be notified of specific events like high latency or low throughput. VPC flow logs. Monitor traffic flow within your virtual private cloud using VPC flow logs. AWS CloudTrail. Track API calls made on your Direct Connect connection via AWS CloudTrail. SNMP monitoring. Simple Network Management Protocol (SNMP) can be used for real-time monitoring of a Direct Connect router. Some best practices of AWS Direct Connect. Redundant connections. Always set up at least 2 Direct Connect connections for failover and high availability. Optimal routing policies. Implement well-planned BGP routing policies to manage traffic effectively. The monitoring setup. Utilize Amazon CloudWatch and VPC flow logs for effective monitoring and alerting. Utilize Direct Connect Gateway. For multiple VPCs, use a Direct Connect Gateway to manage all connections centrally. Capacity planning. Regularly assess your bandwidth needs and adjust your Direct Connect setup accordingly. And that's all. Thanks for watching.